My friend and I heard the last sounds of a person's life while camping. I've never been much of an outdoor person, but the summer after my second year in college, one of my roommates convinced me to go tent camping with him. It was only over the weekend, and I wasn't doing anything anyway, so I said I'd go with him. For the sake of privacy, I'll call him Jake. Now, Jake would go all out. He had a 2014 Jeep Wrangler, the entire backseat filled almost completely with different camping gear. He didn't like to reserve spots at actual campsites, but instead find his own spots, which he said made it more fun. We drove up into the Rocky Mountains for a while until we found a break in the trees with enough space to fit the Jeep through. We then drove off-road between trees until he pointed out a good spot. We set up a fire pit, chairs, and the tent we'd be staying in for the night. It was already around 7 p.m., and the sun was starting to set. Jake went to the car and pulled out a bag of hot dogs for us to cook over the fire. Real original, I know, but they were an easy meal, and Jake wanted to give me the true camping experience since it was my first time. He even brought stuff for us Maury's, although we never got that far. As we were cooking the hot dogs, there was an extremely loud female screaming, maybe 300 or 400 feet away. I looked up and saw Jake's head turn towards the direction of the screams. At first, there weren't any words we could make out, but then there was a help me please, and an NO, all of them sounding more desperate than the last. Then, the loudest, most terrifying scream was abruptly cut off mid-scream, a instant silence. Jake looked back in my direction. The look on his face was pure horror. As far as we knew, the closest man-made structure was the road, and even that was far away. No one should have been out here. Whatever it was that we just heard didn't matter. We knew we needed to leave as fast as possible. We started frantically throwing things in the back of the Jeep, stuff the still fully made tent inside, and as we closed the door, I tried calling 911 as we started driving back to the road. I had practically no service out there, but somehow managed to get on the line with an operator. I did my best to explain what we heard, and they said they'd send out a trooper as soon as possible. It took us twice as long to get back to the road just because this time we couldn't see anything. Finally, we saw the pavement and stopped for a second. We didn't know if we should wait for the cops or not. That's when we saw a figure walking out from the trees in front of us. He was wearing jeans with an all-black sweatshirt with a hood covering his face. He was dragging something behind him in a heavy sheet or some kind of bag. His head was down, limping as he walked. He looked over in our direction when blue and red police lights revealed themselves down the road. The man turned his head and started sprinting back into the forest, letting go of the bag. The police saw this and started chasing after him. The bag he was dragging turned out to contain the remains of a 34-year-old woman. We aren't sure if the man was ever caught, but one thing is certain, I'll probably never go camping again.